It is Saturday in Alabama, and College Game Day takes you to Tuscaloosa, home of Bear Bryant, Nick Saban, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media. By the way, I know Saban's originally from West Virginia. Bear Bryant played at Alabama, though. He did play at Alabama. So I can say that. Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you on a Saturday. I will not be able to go live for the game tonight as I have to work this afternoon. So to make up for it, we're doing a college game day watch party, tailgate, however you want to put it. Everyone's going to be there. Dozens, hundreds of Alabama fans and Texas fans set to make their way to the quad. No. Are they having it on the quad or the strip? I'm going to be honest, I didn't really see. But I do know this. We got a lineup for you. This is what's going down in Tuscaloosa. Hashtag Bama Game Day. Got this from Facebook. College Game Day at 8 a.m. Central. All-time Central, by the way. The Champions Lane opens the Nissan Heisman House. A.J. McCarron, you can meet him. 3 to 5. 4 p.m. Taylor Hicks of the Paul Feinbaum theme song and other great hits. Honorary captain autographs, Marcel Darius, Gate 34 at 2:30. Autographs with gymnastics at Champions Lane at 2:30. At 3:15, honorary captain autographs, Dante Hightower. Oh, what a legend he was. 4 o'clock is the Walk of Champions, where it's the traditional walk to the stadium that Nick Saban and the boys will take. So the stadium gates will also open at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, you can also get autographs with Nick Pringle, Mark Sears, and who is that? Jaron Stevenson in basketball. The Elephants Stomp at 5. And 6 o'clock, all-time Central, will be kickoff. What to look for? Pre-game flag recipient. Sorry, I'm having trouble with that word. Sergeant Grant McGarry, U.S. Army. Thank you for your service, sir. He is retired. He'll be the flag recipient. Pre-game flyover, the second bomb wing from the Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. First and second quarter, men's basketball SEC Champions ring presentation. And then at halftime, Nick Dunlap, a U.S. amateur champion. So that is what they have lined up for Bryant Denny today for Bama Game Day. And we're here to hang out. We're here to talk. College Game Day tailgate should be coming on in about 12 minutes. So let me go ahead. Let's put this up here. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Hey, do us a favor. Let me take this off the screen. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, go subscribe on YouTube where all our videos are. We really would appreciate it. You can leave a reaction on Facebook. You can comment. You can share this out. We want to grow the Facebook page this year and this football season, as well as the YouTube channel. So we'll be here for College Game Day. I figured I could, because this is the game of the year right here. This could be the game of the year, but I'm going to have to work tonight, right? So I'll only catch a little bit of it. We'll watch highlights and everything like that. So I figured, since I can't go live for the game, why not go live for College Game Day? I know Uncle Lou does it. I'm not trying to take from him. I'm just trying to put my own spin on things and try to, get my own thing going here. They're showing the Sports Center top 10. They got tennis right now. Oh, look at that hit. Look at that. Nice save. I'm not really one for tennis. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't really hate any sport. I just have my preferences, so. But yeah, should be a good game tonight. A couple good games on today. We could talk about that. But what we want to do, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link, not the link. That's Alabama's term. Let all naysayers know. The link. We're going to drop the link. If you want to be a part of the show, click that StreamYard link. Come on in. I invited Mayhem Matthew to come on. I'm not sure if he's watching, but I'm going to send him a text. I'm not going to get to the people just yet, but if you want to hang out in the back room, and we'll get to you very soon. Okay. So, what we got? How about Alabama? What's going on today in Tuscaloosa? We talked about the lineup that you saw on your screen, right? So, Alabama is hosting key visitors for top 10 showdown with Texas. This is via On3 Bama. 4-star edge 2024 Solomon Williams, 4-star 2024 running back Daniel Hill, and elite 4-star quarterback for 2025 George McIntyre. Interesting there. So you got a couple recruits for the next couple years that are going to be in Tuscaloosa, and hope, watching this matchup to see who wins. Does the outcome of this game influence their decision for college going forward? I see you back there, Hokey. We'll get to you in a second. But does the outcome of this game ultimately impact the decision for these future recruits? I think it does. I think this season is going to affect that. I think that this game, the playoffs, it's it's going to be fun to see. Apparently, the quarterback for 25, George McIntyre, he's visited several times to Alabama. 2 trips to Tuscaloosa this past summer. He was there in June, then attended the Champs Cookout in late July. He's already developed a really close relationship with several Alabama commits, including 2 pretty big name wide receivers in Jamie French and Ryan Williams. As of right now, I think Alabama, Tennessee, LSU is probably in there a little bit, but in the end, I think that is from On3 about George McIntyre, a 4-star at the moment quarterback for 2025. Keegan Pope put that out. So now then, you have the line set to 7 points. Again, my prediction, I'm calling an upset tonight. I hope I'm wrong. I'm going to say 28-23 Texas. But again, we got week 2 Longhorns and the Alabama Crimson Tide. We want to hang out with you guys today on the tailgate. Let's bring on Hokey for life and TriStar. How you guys doing?
What's up, Ballard?
What's up?
So you actually have yourselves losing tonight?
I think Alabama's going to lose a game this year. It was hard to determine where that is. And thinking about it now, now LSU could still be it, but think about this. Nick Saban's pretty good at revenge games, right? So he'll probably get to your Vols a little bit, and he'll probably get after LSU. You got Auburn at the end of the season, but we'll see how good they are. Only time will tell. Texas, I feel like Sarkisian wants this win. I really do.
And this right here will show that Texas is actually coming back and them going into the SEC next year. And I've actually got Texas winning 31-28.
That's a good score. Like I said, I had 28-23. So you see it a little more high scoring. And yeah. I guess
not by much. I mean, again, yeah. I've said this game is going to come down to the wire. I can understand why you would pick either team. I'm just going with Texas because, like you said, I think they want it more, and I feel like they might be a little better at running the ball because I was not impressed last week. I mean, against Middle Tennessee State, your RB1 can't be averaging 3.9 yards a carry.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I get it. It's game one, and they rotated like 5-6 guys. But once you get into SEC play, when you play like Tennessee, for example, you're not going to get to do that. And Tennessee has the front seven to stack the box and shut down the run game.
That's true.
So I wouldn't put Tennessee, like a lot of Alabama fans are saying, oh, Tennessee, we're going to beat them by 40. Oh, Saban ain't going to let that happen again. But there's nothing you can do. And I feel like Jalen Milroe's getting a little overhyped because he had one good game. Because now I'm hearing a lot of Alabama fans saying he should win the Heisman.
But here's the thing. Here's what I say. I'm not going to base Milroe off of Middle Tennessee. I'll base him off of tonight. And by the way, because who's to say he's going to start every game? Because if he struggles in this game and Tyler Buckner, who Nick Saban named quarterback number 2, if he or Ty Simpson had to come in and clean it up and they perform better than Jalen Milroe before he got benched, we're going to have a quarterback change. I promise you.
I guarantee it.
So, and I mean, it's one of those things like he did great last week, yes, but it's Middle Tennessee. The best thing they did last year was beat Miami and make a bowl game. I mean, how are you?
I mean, yeah, they're great. Yeah, with the talent that Alabama has, I mean, yeah, you should go out there and just basically be able to run the ball down their throat. I mean, people are saying, oh, Tennessee just played Virginia. Virginia sucks. I'm like, they're still a Power 5 team.
Yeah.
And Jalen Wright, our RB1, averaged almost 10 yards a carry. We had almost 300 yards on the ground. He was like, well, Milton didn't look that great. I said, we didn't have to throw the ball that much.
Yeah. I want to get Hokie for Life is on here. How are you doing? And what are your thoughts on this Texas-Alabama game? Not sure if he's still there. I know he's on the screen, but
he might be using the bathroom.
Maybe. Well, I heard a door.
Maybe he ate that Cajun filet biscuit from Bojangles this morning and finally hit him.
Oh, that'll get you. That'll get you. We'll give him a few minutes. You look at this though; it's interesting that Texas. I don't know if you knew this; they lead the series over Alabama. I mean, Alabama. I think it's like Texas is up 7-2. I mean, they're pretty much outside of the last two meetings, outside of the championship, and outside of last year. Texas owns Alabama. And I look at that. I mean, is that going to determine this game this year? I mean, maybe they look at it and it motivates them like, hey, you know, this program has done it before. We can do it tonight. It might motivate them, but I don't think, like, it's funny that people bring up records and act like it means something for the game this year or today. All it shows is history. And I mean, I know history repeats itself sometimes, but I think that Texas in Sarkisian shouldn't be looking at, well, we're 7-2 against Alabama. They should look at it as, hey, we're 1-0 this year. We've won a game. We know what it takes to do that. And we just got to bring it a little bit more for Alabama.
Yeah.
So we got Hokie back. How are you feeling? And we want to get Hokie's thoughts on this game. And do you have a prediction?
I actually, ironically, have the exact same score prediction as TriStar.
Yeah.
I picked Texas 31-28.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm be honest, I haven't paid attention to Alabama football, so I don't know who Milroe is yet, so I don't know how good.
He's the current starting quarterback. He's a dual threat.
Yeah.
Now I will say one thing: that dude can run. He can run like a deer.
I just want to see pressure in his face and if he can throw the
We
deep
just
ball.
want to see how does he do with pressure, because I can tell you on October the 21st, the third Saturday in October, when that big orange comes down I-59 to T-Town,
Yeah.
Tennessee will be able to get pressure. And
Yeah.
You still got Byron Young or whoever? Or
no, we don't have him, but we got a guy by the name of James Pierce Jr. He's like a skinnier Derek Barnett. This guy, he looked pretty daggone good coming off the edge. Now, granted, it's Virginia, but that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see us getting tons of pressure on Virginia's, and they did. They passed, and we only allowed 201 yards of total offense. Right. And that's what you're supposed to do. And people's like, why is it so good? I said, because if that was last year's team, we would have given up almost 400.
Yeah.
That's a bit.
Did y'all see who they got? Joe Willie Namath as the guest picker today.
Oh, Broadway Joe! I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's still alive.
After some of the stuff, he looks good for his age too. But I would agree with you,
man.
My
God, he's got to be pushing 90.
He's got to be. I mean, he
was Alabama's first big name quarterback, if you really think about it, under Bear Bryant.
He was. I mean, what was those years?
Yeah, like, and him. He had like like early, like late 50s, early 60s. You had him.
He was there like 61.
Kenny Stabler.
Yeah.
He had like Kenny Stabler. Like, it's crazy. Tennessee and Alabama's had like the who's who in football history on the field against each other.
Yeah. Well, College Game Day is on. You guys are more than welcome to hang out and watch with us, but they're showing all the signs and they're talking and getting fired up. All these
and Game Day is going to be back there October 21st.
Probably.
If they're undefeated.
I hope we get them in Blacksburg one time soon.
No one did it like Big and Rich, though. I'm sorry, Laney Wilson and Darius Rucker.
So why did they get rid of Big and Rich?
I don't know if it was a contract thing or if it was just getting old for them, but I love Big and Rich.
Well, I know John Rich, isn't he? Doesn't he work for like Fox News or something now?
I'm not sure. He might. Maybe.
I know. I think one of the one with the Fu Manchu mustache. I just know he's the one with the Fu Manchu mustache. He he works for Fox News, so it could be a political thing. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that.
Dang! Hold up! Look at this.
Yeah.
Cody, 55-35. That if we give up 35 points, I'll be crying in the corner. If our defense does that, and if our offense against Texas's defense, which I know we make jokes about how the Big 12 doesn't have any, but they've improved over the past few years. We give up 35.
And that's why it's sad to see these conferences breaking up like the Pac-12, because the Pac-12 is getting really good.
Right.
Yeah.
And because of TV network executives, it's pressuring these schools into moving.
Right.
Because here's the thing. It's not like a school like Oregon is needing the money.
That's true.
Or Washington or USC. They're doing it because they're greedy and they want more.
Exactly.
And they're not thinking of the athletes. They're not thinking of the players. They're not thinking of the fans. They're not thinking of... And it's crazy. They're not even like consulting the boosters on these decisions. Right. They're just like, we're doing it and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
And I feel like those West Coast schools, it's actually going to hurt them in recruiting. A lot of people don't realize that. People's like, try, man. Why do you say that? They're big brands. I'm like, because look at the travel.
Exactly.
You're having to travel 3,000 miles for a dang road game? No, thank you.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like I really think with this realignment stuff, first off, nobody likes it. Nobody's on board with it except this.
Well,
I mean,
everybody knows what my take on that and what I would do.
yeah,
I'm crazy apparently and all that stuff.
I just the whole like, okay, you got 4 Pac-12 teams leaving for the Big Ten. Big Ten's all East Coast. You know the traveling that they're going to have to do, and I mean, it's just insane.
The Big Ten is originally the Great Lakes region. The only real East Coast teams, you got Penn State, Rutgers, and Maryland.
Yeah.
And I've heard from a lot of Maryland fans, they wish they could go back to the ACC.
Would be easier here.
Because they're more relevant and they had better teams. And, of course, had a historic rivalry with Virginia.
Yeah. That's why I wish we could bring the Big East back, because Virginia Tech's rivals are like West Virginia and Miami, and obviously Virginia.
Well, you can go on my Twitter. Here's my. I'll get, since you're Virginia Tech. Here's my ACC. I'll see what you think about this. Virginia Tech, Appalachian State, Wake Forest, Duke, North Carolina State. Here's a one for you. East Carolina, Clemson, and South Carolina.
That could be that'd be fun.
That'd be a fun conference.
Especially bringing Appalachian State in with a bunch of the powerhouses.
Well, here's the thing. With Appalachian State, you got Blacksburg right up the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want to see Clemson or South Carolina going up in the mountains?
Oh, that'd be some fun football games.
I'm telling you, they would immediately have a natural rivalry with Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Because they're literally not far up the road. And if you wanted to make it 12 teams, you could throw in like Coastal Carolina and Liberty or whatever.
Yeah.
Because Liberty's over there in Lynchburg, which is not far from Roanoke, and it's kind of. I was saying James Madison, but you're literally right next to UVA. So, but like my SEC, everybody laughs at it, but I've got Georgia Tech, Tulane, LSU, Georgia, Florida State, because they're in the Panhandle, Auburn, Alabama, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Big East, West Virginia. Here's my Big East right here: West Virginia, Pitt, Penn State. I put Maryland in there because once you get up to the like DMV area and stuff, it feels more northeastern to me.
Yeah.
Every time I've been up there, Maryland, Rutgers, Syracuse, UConn, Boston College, and then I had to put them somewhere, and it made a little more sense. I tried to keep the travel as short as possible, but Miami and UCF.
Yeah.
Because Miami was in the Big East for a while.
True.
And then with the Big Ten, y'all, this right here will be a hellacious basketball conference. So I got Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue, Notre Dame, Indiana, Illinois, Louisville, Kentucky, Cincinnati, and Ohio State. That'd be a murderer's row basketball conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. So we talk about this game tonight with Alabama and Texas. What about some of the other games you guys want to watch today? Because honestly, we have a lot of cupcakes, but I think two that stick out to me.
Texas A&M, Miami.
Well, there's that one this afternoon. You got the morning games. I think NC State, Notre Dame could be good. Utah, Baylor could be good. What are your takes on those games? Nebraska, Colorado. I mean, we'll watch the Colorado game. I think Colorado is going to steamroll Nebraska, and I think that's why you want to watch it.
Not buying the Deion hype yet.
Nah.
I'm not either, but I'm also not going to buy Nebraska too much.
Well, no, I think what it is, there's one thing that Nebraska has that TCU didn't, and they don't have: defense.
Yeah.
I think that and Colorado and Nebraska, historically, that's an old Big 8, Big 12 rivalry. I remember when I was a kid, that game decided who played for a national championship usually. That was always a huge game when I was a kid. And I've got a soft spot for Nebraska because they kind of fell off when Tennessee did after 2001. So I'm picking the Cornhuskers to win. I've got it being 17-16.
Okay, so you do think it's close, low scoring. You're not buying into what they did last week.
Well, I'm not. It's not that. I just think that Matt Rule's going to have a good game plan, and I think they're going to come out a lot more ready to play. I think they're going to focus more on the run than last week because I think they tried to see what Jeff Sims could do at quarterback, and it cost them.
Right.
So I'm thinking they're going to be more run heavy. And they do have a pretty good defense. And I think they hold it down, and I think they get it turned around in Nebraska. And I got the Cornhuskers winning 17-16 in a close one.
I like that score too. I think that's a good score. That's almost like this game that we're going to have tonight. It's almost how that turned out last year. And speaking of last year, you guys want to be a part of this segment. Let's talk about this Texas-Alabama game some more. Obviously, College Game Day's there. SEC Nation, I think, is there.
Everybody's there.
I mean, yeah, you got all these celebrities and everything. You look back at last year, though, the talking point they're mentioning this year is what if Quinn Ewers didn't get hurt last year, and what if he stays healthy in this game tonight? So let's talk about Quinn Ewers' path to Longhorn glory. Like, if he, what would a win tonight mean for Quinn Ewers? Because remember, it would solidify him. I agree, but let's go back his timeline. A 5-star recruit. He took visits really to Ohio State. He officially enrolled in 2021. He transfers a few months later because he didn't get the start. He just wasn't.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't he not the highest rated recruit of all time?
I think at the time he was. I mean, there was a lot of hype around Quinn Ewers.
He was getting hyped up as the best thing ever, best quarterbacks prospects since Trevor Lawrence.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you just had a generational talent in Tua. You had one in Trevor Lawrence. You have one now in Quinn Ewers. Thing about Quinn Ewers today is he doesn't look like what we hyped him up to be. But if
he cut the mullet. That's why.
That might be it. But, you talk about Quinn Ewers and what he's done so far in college. I mean, no picks this year, 260 yards last week, 3 touchdowns. Not bad. But that's Rice. He does that and maybe more tonight against Alabama. He solidifies himself as a Texas great and probably boosts his draft stock. But here's the thing. Success is not a continuum, as Coach Saban would say. He's got to build off of that. He has a success tonight. He's got to duplicate it week in and week out, stay healthy. And if he doesn't do well in this game, what if he gets to the point where he's benched? What about Arch Manning? Or no. It wouldn't be him. It would be I heard rumors
Malik
that Arch
Murphy.
was 3. Malik Murphy, that's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm excited for Quinn. I love watching him play. I do think he's talented. I just need to see it. And he probably would have won last year if he didn't get hurt. I think that even from
there ain't no probably about it. He absolutely would have won.
Yeah.
Because he was just slinging that rock like nobody's business.
Right.
But again, I feel like what Alabama's game plan is that they want to control the line of scrimmage. They want to shut down Quinn Ewers. They want to get pressure on him. But the thing is this right here is going to really test that vaunted secondary that y'all apparently have.
Right.
Kool-Aid McKinstry's going to get tested, and Caleb Downs, being a true freshman, is really going to get tested.
Oh, I know, because you have these guys out there that Quinn Ewers can throw to, and you say, Xavier Worthy, where are you at? And who else do they have?
You got A.D. Mitchell.
What's that?
A.D. Mitchell.
Xavier Worthy we mentioned. I mean, they don't.
I forget the other ones, but basically they're probably going to be in the NFL.
Yeah. They're there. That's
but
the point.
Xavier Worthy is their big one, and that's who I see Kool-Aid being on.
I think that should be the matchup is Kool-Aid on Worthy. And I think then you have, like you mentioned, A.D. Mitchell. Maybe that's someone that Caleb Downs wants to cover. Point is, if you're Alabama secondary, first off, no holding calls. Don't try to do too much, because that's what football players will do. They'll try to do too much. They end up getting
try to be the hero,
penalties, making mistakes. Yeah, I mean, and they do it at the worst of times. Some moments, it's a tie game. Like, just let them go and hope that it falls short. Or you're up big, just give them a touchdown. Like, it's not going to win them the game. Something like that.
Right.
I don't know, but like kind of talking about here, we got Mayhem Matthew on here. How do you feel about Quinn Ewers, Matthew? And how does what he does tonight solidify like his legacy as a Texas quarterback?
Well, I think y'all pretty much hit the nail on the head, right? Quinn Ewers don't need to make a lot of mistakes. He needs to come in calm and collected. I think he had a great start last year before he got injured. I think he just needs to come in and play some football, and I think he'll be fine in this game. He's been in this game last year. It was at Texas, but this year he comes to Bryant Denny. So all he needs to do is not be too nervous. Get the nerves behind him and just stay calm.
I agree fully, 100% what you said. I mean, he just has to handle the crowd noise. He's got to handle the pressure of the Alabama defense. And the thing is, I mean, that crowd noise in the SEC will throw you off quick if you're not careful. And I know let's say he does go pro, he won't have to deal with it. But think about the other players for Texas. They got some young guys, even on the offensive line and everything. But those guys have to handle the noise too. And they're going to have to get used to it, because buckle up, you're joining the SEC next year. So This is a true test, not even just for Quinn, but Sarkisian, the whole Texas program, the O-line, the defense, the linebackers, everybody. So I would fully agree with what you said there about handling the crowd noise and not letting Nick Saban likes to put it like, don't let the external factors get to you. The external factors, what you cannot control in the game. He can't control how loud the crowd is going to be. He can't control what his guys are going to do, because everyone has like their own free will and what they're going to do on the field. All he can control is when the ball's in his hands, and if he can read and pick apart the defense, that's up to him, and that's what he's going to have to do very well tonight.
Yeah, and I turned my camera off because I was texting Mark Rogers. I was like, I don't know if I should do a post game tonight, because by the time the game's over, everybody's going to be watching Alabama, Texas. Like, I wouldn't get any views.
Yeah.
And plus, we're playing Austin Peay. I mean, that's a team we should beat by 60. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, maybe I could do a quick one, like, say like who looked good, stuff like that. Keep it kind of short and sweet.
Shout out to everyone in the chat. Gamecock Chug, how you doing? Goose Sports, what's going up? Brock and Flamin' Sports Media. Of course, we got Hokey, we got Mayhem, we got TriStar in here today. So we're watching College Game Day. We're hanging out with you guys. We're talking Alabama and Texas. I had already asked TriStar and Hokey, but Mayhem, what other games would you like to watch today? Obviously, you're a Georgia fan. You probably want to watch them, but are there any other games that stand out?
Yeah. So now, obviously, the Miami versus Texas A&M game stands out to me. this is a very late game, but USC Stanford stands out to me. Now, whenever you talk about games that might be interesting, this is a potential upset this week. I'm not saying that they are going to get upset. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a potential upset. Is Auburn versus Cal.
Yes. That's a
Yeah.
9:30 game tonight or 10:30.
And think about this. It played at Cal, so 10:30 our time or 9:30 or whatever is going to be like kind of like over there. What, midnight?
Over there, no, in California, it'll be 7:30.
7:30.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, it's going to be at Cal, and they got to go. They got to travel.
Yeah.
And I think because I think the line, the betting line is, last time I checked, there's only like a touchdown favorite for Auburn.
Is it that low? I mean, because
Yeah.
I had checked up the matchup predictor, but I didn't really see the line. Let's look at the scoreboard. We don't have any games yet.
I think Vandy and Wake kicks off at 11.
You guys,
Speaking of the
can you guys
Auburn
hear me?
Cal game, I've got.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Ball State and Georgia, we know what's going to happen there. Penn State and Delaware, battle of
Same
Joe
thing.
Biden. Yeah. Now this one, okay. Clemson's
Can the
probably going to
Taters
win.
rebound?
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah,
Clemson
that's what I'm
loses.
saying.
I'm gonna say this.
Oh,
And
I'll have.
this is not a popular opinion about Clemson right now. Everybody's overreacting about Clemson. That's the biggest overreaction I've ever seen in week one. I know they lost to Duke. I get it. They shouldn't have probably lost to Duke, but Duke is a good team this year. Last year they won 9 games. This year, remember last year Duke
Yeah.
beat a top 10 team in North Carolina. This year they come out and beat a top
Yeah.
10 team in Clemson. So this ain't like a really bad Duke team, right? It's a strong, good Duke team. Now, I think Clemson came in that game and got slapped in the mouth. I do think they rebound, and they're probably going to win 10 games again, 10 or 11 games again. They're probably going to go 10-2 or 11-1.
Right.
A lot of people, and it's crazy to me how people say, "Oh, Clemson fell off," whenever whenever some teams can't even make a bowl game. Some teams
Yeah.
Some teams can win 8 games, and they say, "Oh, we're great," But whenever Clemson wins 10 and 11 games, oh, Clemson fell off. I mean, that's crazy.
Right.
So I think Clemson
It
rebounds.
is.
I think Clemson rebounds. I think Clemson's still going to be very competitive. I think everything that could have went wrong in that game. You had 2 missed field goals. You had 2 fumbles at the 1-yard line. You had it was just a very weird
Yeah.
game. K. Klubnik, I'm not making excuses, but if he slides maybe 1 more yard before he actually slid, he gets the first down, and maybe they go and score on that drive.
Yeah.
And then you still have eight more minutes
That
to do
situation
something.
was weird.
It was just a weird game. Just a really weird
Yeah.
game. And honestly, I think Clemson rebounds and still wins 10 or 11 games.
I would agree. I think
Yeah.
that they make a statement today. I mean, I know it's Charleston Southern, but I think that they want to go high scoring here. I think they want to show that they can have an elite offense in college football. I think Cade Klubnik is still a good quarterback, Will Shipley, and they got good weapons around these guys, and I think they rebound here. Looking at the next game here, do we really need to talk much about it? Michigan and UNLV. I think it's going to be a bloodbath for Michigan. They're just going to go in there and take what they want. 38 is the spread. Over under is 57. Probably give me the over. I mean, I don't know, but 81 degrees in Ann Arbor, going to be a hot one if you're going to that game. So get prepared, but they should be okay too. We've talked enough. I mean, we could talk more about Texas, Alabama. That's where game day is and everything. But let's look at some other games. Yeah. Stanford and USC. Is this a sleeper?
It could be interesting. I've not been very high on USC, but I still think USC is going to win. But I think it's going to be closer than people are going to expect out of this game.
Yeah.
I think USC probably wins like 45-31.
I'd say 45-20.
Yeah.
For USC?
Yes.
I think USC can win by at least 20.
I'm going to say 48-24. USC.
Fair.
Oh gosh. Ohio State and Youngstown State. I mean, that's probably
a 55-3.
55-3. Now this one actually, I almost went live for. Notre Dame, NC State. The line is Notre Dame -7. This actually could be a trap for Notre Dame.
Well, I'm not too high on NC State, and maybe they rebound from last week. They almost lost to UConn. And we always have week one overreactions. Remember, the best, what's it called? Like your best improvement in college football.
Week 1 to week 2.
Exactly.
Right.
So we'll see what NC State does versus Notre Dame. But if Notre Dame blows out NC State, I'm not going to be very high on them because they did struggle with UConn. And, I mean, it's UConn. They should have beat UConn pretty easily.
Question is, though, does Notre Dame cover the 7 points?
I think they do.
I think so. I think they can win this game. I think, honestly, the most they can win this game by, like, I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won by, like, 14 or 10.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Utah, Baylor, Utah -7.5. Over-under is 46. You were high on Baylor this offseason, weren't you, Mayhem? Weren't we talking?
That was 2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago? I thought it was this year.
It was the 2022 season. I predicted them to go to the playoffs, but they went 6-6. So.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Anyway, how do you feel? Like, do they bounce back here? They're at home. They play Utah.
Well,
is Cam Rising back?
Cam Rising comes back in this game. Baylor has no quarterback. So I'm picking Utah here.
I'll take Utah, and I'll probably take the 7.5.
Utah's probably going to win big.
Well, I didn't know if Cam Rising was going to be. I was predicting it as if he was not, and I said 24-17. But if he is back, if he is playing, they'll win probably convincingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cam Rising is back for that game.
Okay. Well, then retract my prediction.
All right. Troy and Kansas State. Kansas State is up 15 points on the line.
I'll take the 15 and then some.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's only a 15-point favorite, but I'll take 15. Yeah.
Well, Howard's a pretty good quarterback. I think he's got a strong arm. I think he's got the weapons. The only thing they really lost last year was Deuce Vaughn, but I think Kansas State, they should cover. They should win here at home. The over under is 49, probably right at 49 points. I might even just take it right there. I don't know if I go over 50-point like deficit or combined points, or I don't know, but
I think Kansas State can score 40, at least 41 points by themselves.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah. I'll take Kansas State there. Okay, let's talk about this one. Colorado. I was down on Colorado this offseason, and Mayhem, of course, and I talked on the Touchdown Tuesdays, and I think at one point I said they'll only win like 2 games, and and he said, "Nah, bro, they got to go bowling," and they might actually at this point. So Colorado, Nebraska, who you guys got? Colorado -3.
Well, I think this is listen, Colorado. Deion Sanders is a winner, right? I think Colorado wins this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nebraska, after what they did in week 1, if they make a statement and come out and win this game.
Yeah.
But I think Nebraska is actually, and I know this is going to be a hot take, but I think Nebraska is more physical than TCU. They're going to have a more physical team on their hands.
Nah, you're right about that.
Even though I know Nebraska lost, but I think Nebraska has a better defense than TCU. They remember Nebraska was winning that game all the way up until the last, 4 or 5 minutes to go in the ball game.
Yeah, I think they lost the lead in the last minute.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the score was only like 10-13. So it was a very defensive game. Really no offense. I think the key here is, can Nebraska move the ball down the field on Colorado? That's going to be the key matchup for Nebraska winning this game. And then Colorado just got to do what they did last week, and but Colorado has to play better defense. I think it's going to be the story of this game is going to be Nebraska's offense versus Colorado's defense. That's really what it's going to be about.
Yeah. I'm taking Nebraska 38-24.
Wow. I'm going to take Colorado, but I don't think it's going to be that low scoring. I'm going to say 42-38.
I'm going to say I take Colorado. I'm going to say 45-35. Up next, we could go. Well, let's not do all of these, but these next 2 are interesting. Ole Miss and Tulane.
Ole Miss. I think Tulane. I think Tulane's a very good team, but give me Ole Miss and give me the 8 points. I think Ole Miss probably wins this game 52-24.
Wow. All right. I'm actually taking Tulane to win. I think Tulane's going to beat them at home. Group of 5 teams are always hard to beat at home, especially if you're going in there ranked. So
the question is, though, who do you trust as far as a high-flying offense? I trust Jackson Dart and Ole Miss, and I look at what they have in Quitshaw Judkins and Harris, and I look at that and I say that's almost unstoppable. Lane Kiffin has that mindset. The Lane train's rolling into New Orleans, and Tulane could keep it close. I'm going to say this is a high-scoring game because I also don't trust Pete Golding in that defense, but I'm going to say Ole Miss wins 52 to 40. I'm going to go 52-48 in a shootout. I think it'd be that good of a game.
So what about that Texas A&M Miami game? I'm looking forward to seeing that today.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah.
That's tough to call, though. That's in Miami.
You know,
Connor Wegman looked pretty good last week. 5 touchdowns, 236 yards. Miami has the advantage of the run game.
Don't he have a ridiculous stat of like 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions so far?
Wegman, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I hope Miami pulls an upset. But I think by a field goal, I think A&M on the money covers that line. I'm going to say 27-24. The Aggies pull it off.
there might be a bit bias.
I'll up the game a little bit. I think it's a game-winning field goal.
Yeah. I think I'm a bit biased in saying this, but I think Texas A&M blows them off the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Texas A&M here, but
I'm gonna go Texas A&M like 38-17.
I think it'd be closer than that, man.
I think Texas A&M was going to win this ball game 38-27 or something like that.
All right. Tulsa and Washington. Washington top 10. 34 is the spread. I'm going to take Washington and lay the points. I know Tulsa won last week, but the competition that they had to play compared to what they're facing in Washington, Arkansas Pine Bluff was a gimme game, but so
I'm very impressed with Washington. I still have Washington as a lock in my college football playoffs. I think they're very, very good. I think they win the Pac-12 this year. Last week kind of solidified my thoughts on that Michael Penix Jr. He is my front runner for the Heisman. I know it's too early because you still got Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, you still got Caleb Williams, and you still got Bo Nix and all a lot of other people, right? But
right.
I really like Washington. They got 2 elite wide receivers and an elite quarterback, and they got probably the best defense in my opinion in the Pac-12. So Washington is going to be a fun team to watch all year.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to take them. Probably take the 34. TriStar, you still here? He's muted if he's trying to talk.
Washington in a blowout. I don't know if we're sensing this one, but yeah, Washington's gonna just run over them.
Tennessee and Austin P is up next. TriStar. Yeah. But anyway, if he
what?
Tennessee and Austin P. What do you think?
We'll probably see backups in the second quarter.
That early?
I was muted because one of my coworkers here in Omaha, he's a Nebraska fan, and he's like, man, if we can just get our quarterback and wide receiver play down, we'll be good. I was like, yeah, I said, And here's something. Y'all watch out for this. Keep this, save this for a future. Garrett Riley's not getting allowed to call the offense at Clemson. And we all know that. Matt Rule had to hire Marcus Satterfield just to have somebody. He had to have somebody be the offense coordinator. How much you want to bet Matt Rule is going to be blowing his phone up to come out there and say, listen, you come out here to Nebraska, you'll have all the opportunity in recruiting in the world, and it's your offense. It's your show. You run it how you want.
Well, I think
I'm gonna disagree with you there. I think Garrett Riley is calling the offense, and he had 200 yards of offense.
According to Dabo himself, he was told. He said, "Well, he wasn't brought in to reinvent the wheel or anything. He's brought in to run the Clemson offense."
Yeah, but that's just like Mike Bobo at Georgia. He didn't come in to, make a whole brand new playbook. He came in to run Georgia's offense.
But the thing is that it was already working at Georgia. It's not been working the last few years at Clemson.
I mean, I like what Dabo Swinney says. If you give me 200 yards of passing, 200 yards of rushing, I'll take that any day on offense. You just all you got to do is stop fumbling the ball, stop the fundamentals. All you got to do is get back to regular football and get back to the basics. Once you learn the basics, 200 yards of passing, 200 yards of offense should win you the game every time.
Well, I'm just telling you, Dabo's got to get with the program, or he needs to go.
If Tennessee had 200 yards of passing, 200 yards of rushing, you think they should win the game easily, right?
Well, yeah.
That was just like I said, that was just a very weird
But
game.
Most of that offense, let's be real, most of that offense was one guy. Will Shipley.
You got Maffa, and you had Bo Collins made a lot of good catches.
And you got Will Shipley.
Yeah, but Bo Collins did good in that game. Williams did good in that game. It wasn't. I know what you're saying. He ran the ball a lot, but he was probably the player of the game of Clemson side.
But it's the fact of that Dabo Swinney will not use the transfer portal at all, hardly at all. Yeah. He just out.
But just like Dabo Swinney said, did the transfer port is it the transfer portal's fault that they fumbled on the 1 yard line 2 times?
No, but I'm saying he could have went and got Keon Coleman. But they got Dante Thornton. He could have went and got a slew of wide receivers. Because that's been the glaring problem the last few years at Clemson has been wide receiver, and it's glaring.
They got 52 blue chip players, which is
okay. But if all you can do is run the ball and be one dimensional, you're not going to win. You have to have a vertical passing game.
But that's the highest blue chip ratio that Clemson's ever had. Ever.
I don't give a shit about the blue chip ratio, okay? I'm looking at what I'm seeing. Okay. Do you realize that Florida State's blue chip ratio is only like 38%? Tennessee's is 48%. You know what overachieves all that? Coaching.
Right. Just
so what that tells me is that Dabo has been coasting off 2 back-to-back generational quarterbacks, and he don't have that anymore.
Just keep watching.
Okay, I've been watching since Dabo's been at Clemson.
I wouldn't be surprised. if Clemson beats Florida State.
No. From what I watched,
that's not happening.
Florida State is going to go up there to Pickens County, South Carolina, and splatter the walls with Clemson's blood. That's what's going to happen.
Okay. I mean, that's what
I don't know what you've seen in that offense. Literally, and even going back to last year against Tennessee in the Orange Bowl, you miss all those field goals, and you can't get it done in the red zone. There's no excuse for that. That goes to coaching. And the fact Dabo is stubborn and stuck in his ways, he will not get out of his own way. He's hamstringing himself. He's going to be in the downfall of Clemson.
So fans really amaze me sometimes. This is why I love college football. And on one side of fans' mouth, they say, "Well, it's a meaningless bowl game," and then out of the other side of a fan's mouth, they say, "Well, Clemson got dominated in a bowl game." I mean,
I never said that wasn't a meaningless bowl game. That was Clemson fans saying that.
I'm saying just fans in general before that game was ever played or even thought of. The people say the Alabama Kansas State was a meaningless bowl game. Remember whenever Alabama beats Kansas State 45 to whatever, and then they say, well, we should have been in the playoffs because we beat Kansas State in the bowl game. And then what do people say? Well, that was a meaningless bowl game, right? That's what people say, right?
Again, fans are listen. Fan is short for fanatic, so we're all crazy. Okay, listen, fans make crazy takes that make no sense. But the reality is that Dabo Swinney is going to have a come to Jesus meeting, no pun intended, and realize, hey, I have to. Listen, nobody's asking Dabo Swinney to go out here and do like what Deion Sanders did, like literally build the team off the portal. Nobody's asking him to do that. All they're saying is, if you see you have a glaring hole, like an offensive line, wide receiver, secondary, there's guys in the portal. You don't have to. I mean, if you're against going and getting Power 5 guys, there's tons of guys at the FCS level that maybe they're balling out and they just need that opportunity.
I mean, right now,
who's it? Not Jaheim Bell. Who's the guy from South Carolina?
Juice Wells?
Juice Wells.
Carry-on Jordan.
Juice Wells came from the FCS level. And
listen, we don't care about FCS. Listen about this.
It's not, but it's the point of it. Go get FCS guys.
Clemson has right now, go look it up, a top 5 in talent. Right?
Okay, I get that, but again, look at Texas A&M last year. Texas A&M had all this talent off that one recruiting class, and they can't even make a bowl game. They're out here losing to Appalachian State. You know why? It's one word: coaching. If you've got a bad coach, you're going to horribly underachieve. Look at 2015, 2016 Tennessee under Bush Jones.
Listen,
look at the early 2000s under Mark Richt.
You know good and well Texas A&M bought them players, the whole $30 million.
Okay.
You know good and well that happened.
But you're mentioning blue chip ratios and all that shit.
No, but listen,
you have to look at it universally.
Okay, but listen to this, right? So Texas A&M, their biggest problem was they had starters making less money than these freshmen, and a lot of them starters really didn't want to play for Jimbo last year. I mean, it was just a
then what's going to change this year? What's going to change?
Why?
If all A&M is just bought and paid for, and they're not there, and they don't want to win, they're just there to collect a paycheck. What the hell makes you think Bobby Petrino coming in is going to make any difference?
Well, number one, a lot of them transferred out. You got like over 20 something players transferred out.
So they're not as talented this year.
They are. They returned most of their starters. But what I'm saying,
I'm talking about depth-wise.
Texas A&M always going to have depth. But what I'm saying is, they also use the transfer portal as well. But what I'm trying to say is, the fact that Clemson is not going to, Clemson is just going to get splattered by FSU is ridiculous. When's the last time FSU even beat Clemson?
Somebody look that up. When's the last time Florida State beat beat the Taters?
It was so long ago, you had to look it up.
Probably their national title year. I don't know.
2013.
That's my point. That's my point, right?
But okay, well then I guess you're saying that Florida's beating Tennessee then.
I mean, they almost did last year. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game. But
come on.
2014 was the last time FSU beat Clemson. That was in Tallahassee, 23-17 in overtime.
And then they beat them in 13 in the championship year.
I'm not saying that Florida's going to beat Tennessee, but to sit there and say that y'all blew them out last year is ridiculous too.
We had the game locked up, and they went on a little comeback, and they recovered an onside kick.
Okay, so
we were in control basically 95% of that game,
but
and they
we're
had a little
talking
comeback.
about. I mean, now.
Hell,
Florida,
if that's the case, then I'd worry about Florida too if I'm Georgia, because you remember they had a little comeback halfway through the game where they got within 5.
And we still beat them by 20 points.
Because you pulled away. Tennessee just took their foot off the gas. That shit ain't happening this year.
Well, I think Tennessee's going to win the game, but right now, if you told me Clemson versus Florida right now, I'm taking Clemson by 20. I mean, what do you mean?
Wait, are you talking about Florida or Florida State there, Mayhem?
Both. I think Clemson can beat Florida State, but right now
they can. Talent-wise, yes, they can. I'm not saying they can't, but with how incompetent the offense looks, with how the fact they couldn't even with that vaunted defensive line, they couldn't get a sack on Duke. I'm telling you, like that's a matchup nightmare for Clemson.
Okay.
I don't know if you watched that game against LSU. I don't think it was necessarily LSU's a bad team. I think Florida State is probably going to make the playoff and play in the championship game this year. They look that good.
I think it's a lot of week one. That's why it's called week one overreactions. I mean, we've seen a lot of.
I agree, and that's why I find it funny. Everybody's writing off LSU.
I have not. I have not written off.
No, I'm not, because again, I look at it like this. I feel like a lot of fans have short-term memories of LSU last year. LSU in week 5, I think is what it was. Tennessee goes down to Baton Rouge and runs them out of their own stadium 40-13, just beats the hell out of them. But then a month later, they host Alabama and they beat them on the last play. So
I think
how a team is now is not going to be how they are later in the year. Okay. I mean, like that's like Tennessee fans coming out saying, "Oh, we're going to beat the hell out of Georgia. They look like shit against Middle Tennessee State." I'm like, they're going to be a much better team by the time they come to Neyland.
Exactly. Well, you just pretty much proved my point. I know Clemson lost to Duke, but why is Duke not getting any love? Why is Duke not? I mean, Duke's a good team.
I agree. They should be.
They beat a top 10 team last year. I mean, they're a good team. Well, Riley Leonard's a good quarterback. I mean, they played at home. I mean, why can't you? I mean, they came prepared. They punched. I mean, everything that could have went wrong for Clemson went wrong. The only thing that went wrong for Duke in that game was that punt. That's the only thing.
And I don't understand why in the hell he tried to field that punt anyways.
But that's the only thing that went wrong for Duke. I can't. Whenever I was watching that game, it seemed like, I mean, a football is a funny shape. It bounces in different ways and stuff.
All right, Josh Pate.
And I feel like I really do feel like that was that type of game. It was just a weird game. It was weird.
Yes, sir.
If Duke and Clemson played 10 more times,
yes, please.
9 out of 10 more times.
No, they're not.
Yes.
No, they're not.
You mean to tell me if Duke and Clemson played 10 more times this year,
they might win the next 5 or 6. They're not winning 9 out of. With how bad Clemson looked, you can't tell me that.
I can tell you that. It was just a weird game.
Well, then you must be putting something in that coffee that's making you think this and making you delusional. I don't know what to tell you, but
I mean, I'm not even a Clemson fan, but I'm just being realistic.
You're starting to sound like an undercover tater.
I'm just being realistic with you. I mean, I think Clemson's still a very, very good team.
Yes, talent-wise, yes. Nobody is saying they're not. Nobody is saying that.
Well, we just keep watching football, and then we'll get back to this conversation.
Wait, just keep watching or just keep swimming?
Either one. But I mean, I feel like this is just a big overreaction on Clemson. I still have them in my playoffs. I still have them win the ACC title this year.
I don't.
I have them going 13-1 into the playoffs. I mean,
yeah, you're a tater man.
I still got them as pretty much. I mean, if Florida State beats them, congratulations. But they're not. They're just no.
Let me guess. You got Alabama going 12-0, don't you?
No, I got Alabama. I don't. I got them going 11-1.
Wait, hold on a second. So are you trying to say right now you feel better about Clemson than you do Alabama?
Where does Alabama play versus where does Clemson play?
No, that's not the question.
That is the question. I'm asking
you're Matthew. You're basically saying that Clemson's a better team than Alabama right now.
When did I say that?
Just by your statement, you're saying, "Oh, they're going 11-1. They're going to be really good and all that stuff."
Well, 11-1 and 11-1 is the same record, but Alabama plays.
But Alabama's got a much tougher schedule.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I wasn't planning on doing all of game day today, but it was great to hang out with you guys. I think we're going to have breakfast here soon, and some bacon and scrambled eggs. And
well, I'll be over.
Are you guys going live for any of the games?
I might not because Mike said Tennessee's on SEC Network Plus pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So I'll do instead of paying I'm cheap. Instead of paying the $5, I'll find some bootleg YouTube stream and watch it or something.
The only thing that I have going on is after the Georgia game, I'm doing the Mark Rogers SEC at the Voice of College Football. I'm gonna see if there's any recruits coming to this game. I'll talk about that and because we're gonna pretty much blow out Ball State, but I'll talk about different stuff, recruiting and injury list.
Hey! Speaking of Mark, I text Mark. I said because Tennessee's game starts at a weird time. It starts at 5:00 Eastern, and by the time the game's over, everybody's gonna be watching that Alabama-Texas game. And I texted him. I said I don't know if I should even do a post game night because everyone's gonna be watching Alabama versus Texas. And he said he laughed at that. He thought that was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna still do mine. I know probably everybody's going to be tuning into that Miami Texas A&M game whenever I'm doing mine, but I'm still going to do mine, and then I'm going to go live. I wanted to go live for the Texas-Alabama game, but
you mean the Alabama-Texas game?
Same difference, but because I think that's going to be a pretty good matchup. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Well, let's hear. Okay. Score predictions for your team and then score predictions for the Texas-Alabama game tonight. Let's start with TriStar.
My prediction. Okay, so you want my prediction for Tennessee-Austin Peay?
Yeah.
I predicted, I think it's 63-3 or something like that.
Dang, that's a blowout. Okay.
Well, Austin Peay's an FCS team.
True.
My turn?
Yeah,
go for it.
I'm gonna say we're gonna beat Ball State. It's not gonna. I mean, can we get out of the 40s? I'll say we'll get 52 to 7 or something like that. 52-7.
Actually, I got a score for you on that one. I think Georgia's gonna win that one 223-0.
Dang.
Oh, well, that's
breaking the Georgia Tech record.
Yeah, that's almost impossible.
Well, it's not. No, it's not impossible. Anything is possible.
Almost impossible because they didn't have a clock back then for Georgia Tech, did they?
Yeah, they did. They had a clock, but it was the fact.
The reason that why they was able to score 223 points is because back then it was who I can't remember who played them, but that team.
It was Cumberland.
Yeah, but remember back in the day, you didn't get recruited or whatnot. It was basically random people. Hey, do you want to try out for this football team? And it was a bunch of walk-ons versus Georgia Tech, which would be back then.
They were a fucking powerhouse.
Exactly. So they scored. I think they scored. They didn't have. Nobody had any first downs in that whole game. It was just one play touchdown. I mean they didn't do no run or anything.
Now, do you know the story behind why that game ended up the way it did? Do you know the story?
I mean, the only thing I know is that Cumberland
I'm just saying if you know the story, because I know the story. So, for y'all don't know, basically what happened was Georgia Tech had played Cumberland in baseball. And John Heisman, who was their football coach, was also Georgia Tech's baseball coach. And Cumberland went and got a bunch of minor league players, and they just beat the bejesus out of Georgia Tech. Like, just ran up the score on them. Well, John Heisman took it personally. So then something happened where Cumberland didn't really have any players. I don't know what the story was, but basically they didn't have any players. And John Heisman told them, well, if you want out of the game, because Cumberland tried to get out of the game. It's like, we don't have any players, so we'll just cancel the game. And John Heisman's like, well, you're going to owe us $50,000. And back in 1916, that's a lot of money. And so they basically had just to find people to dress. Like, hey, we need players. We need people. So they went and got a bunch of people that was in the law school and people that were not athletes. And basically John Heisman wanted to teach him a lesson.
But I do think, like, if I had to guess what would be like the highest score to score in a college football game in today's football, I think you could get over 100, but not.
Well, last year, I think was it Stephen F. Austin scored 98?
Did they?
I think.
Oregon scored 81 this year.
Yeah, they scored 81, and then probably one of the more famous ones in terms of like bigger name schools against each other. Back in, I think it's like 1989 with Andre Ware, Houston beat SMU. I think it's like 94-6 or something like that.
Wow.
I think probably in today's college football with the clock how it is and everything like that.
Probably 80 is about as high as you're going to get.
I think you could get. I mean, if you scored a little bit quicker, I think you get to 100. But
I just want to see Josh Heupel one day against a team like he's just if say the offense is just clicking, just see if you can score 100. Just see if you can do it.
But the only coaches that I know that would do that
is Josh Heupel.
Do you think so? You think he's a run it up type of guy?
Yes. Listen, Josh Heupel might be one of the pettiest coaches I have ever seen.
Well, I know Steve Spurrier back in the day used to run it up.
Steve Spurrier would do it if he could. I mean, hell, in 95 they play at Athens and he tried to hang 100.
And the research that I've done, Tom Osborne, he used to run it up on people. I wasn't alive back then.
Yeah, legendary Nebraska head coach. And again, people get mad about when teams do that. It's just unsportsmanlike. They run up score. Well, stop them.
Yeah, Steve Spurrier used to say, "If you can't stop me, I don't."
I'm scoring.
I don't get paid to just kneel the ball down. I get paid to score.
Exactly.
So you need to stop me, or I'm. But
all right, guys. I gotta get out of here. We gotta go eat breakfast. I want to just enjoy the day.
I'm about to get I'm about to get some of the Lord's chicken. So,
Ballard.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be over there in 15.
All right, man.
All right.
I'm coming. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you later. Have a great college game day. And roll tide. Let's beat Texas.